Guys, what's going on? It is Tuesday night, 8 p.m. here on the East Coast. It's time for Proper Royals Live. And I swear to you, I'm feeling great tonight. We're going to have a killer show. I got Steven and Courtney from Leviathan Snakes back on the show. And they're like in the Five Timers Club. Like if you watch SNL, you know, they have the club. I think this has got to be the fifth time they're on the show. But I really enjoy it because they've become real good friends and they're super insightful. And, you know, we hit it off, good chemistry. It's always a good show. So get your pen and paper because, like, I don't know if you can see it. Let's see if it'll focus. Man, I got show notes. I got 2 pages of show notes. We got a lot to get to tonight. And it's the second annual. I've been around long enough to have annual shows now. How about that? The annual goals show. So last year was the first goals show. We only had to make our goals looking into the future. Tonight, we got to look and see how we did on our goals for 2020. I'm all excited. 2022. And then look at our goals for 2023. So, like I say, we've got a lot to unpack tonight, and I got a lot to cover. I got some announcements up front, some notes to get through, and so I'm going to jump in. I want to say thanks to everybody for being here. Thanks for the audience. As always, there's 21 of y'all early birds, so thank you very, very much. If you're watching on the replay, I appreciate you watching that too. Especially if you're at work or out driving and killing time with me. Thank you so much. It means a lot. And truly, any kind of personality aside or shtick aside, I can't do this show without you all watching it. And like I say, I've been able to have like annual shows now. This is amazing. It's a special thing. I think that I don't count the episodes. Like, a few like industry things make me chuckle, you know, like the microphone and in the line of camera, that always makes me chuckle. And then like other podcasters have like every episode's numbered, like it's a baseball card, you know. I guess I should do mine. I don't know what it is, but I can tell you August of 2021 was my very first show. So we're moving along. And speaking of the very first show, I think it was Steven and Courtney from Leviathan Snakes that were my very first guests. So it's kind of nice to revisit all of that. 30 of you all in the house right now. I see Lauren. Lauren sent me a beautiful note that I've got to wake up to this morning, and I really appreciate it. Totally professional, not any nonsense. It was nice. Thanks for the support, Lauren. That was really fantastic to have in my inbox. I believe Lauren's out in Colorado, if I'm not mistaken. So thank you very much. I've ended my first show this weekend. It was a Show Me Snakes show. A ton of y'all, first, how cool is it? A ton of y'all messaged me like, how's the show? How's the show? How's the show? I was like, man, a lot of people care. Like, that's really cool. I'll give you the short version. It was not very good for me personally, financially. It was very, very good, I think, from a pet hobby industry standpoint. The place was packed. I was telling Steven in the green room ahead of the time, like, you could have crowd surfed through there if you were down for crowd surfing on, you know, 8-year-olds. Man, like the moms and dads just bringing their kids. I mean, it was a petting zoo show, I got to say, for me. But what I did notice and what I've had to figure out and what's really got, you know, I'm the kind of guy, if it doesn't work out, I want to know why. I want to know what the obstacle is. And then I set to figuring out how, because people make money at these shows. I'm a reasonably smart guy. I don't think I deserve to make money per se, but I'm willing to earn the right to make money and to figure it out. So I'm asking myself, like, what could I have done different and that stuff? And I'm going to make a video on all this because I'm doing Orlando Repticon. So that was a Show Me Snake show. I'm doing Orlando Repticon this weekend. Then I'm going to do a video of both of them, and I'll fill you all the way in on it. But man, you talk about people in the door here in Jacksonville. It was packed, man. And I was kind of in the back of the room on the new vendor. You know, they're not going to give me front and center billing for sure. So, hey, you know, take what I could get. It was good experience. It was good to get the reps under my belt, and off to Orlando next weekend. On a very serious note, I was torn. The past month or so has been a tough time for personal interest, should I say, in our industry. It's nonsense. It's just drama from a certain person. But it really kind of screwed up some relationships and friendships, I think, across the industry. Everybody, really divided us. And I've stayed out of it, and I intend to stay out of it. I'm not going to jump in. But I was really torn because that person were sort of stablemates as it comes to sponsors. My sponsors sponsored him. And I was really conflicted. I didn't see it as my point to jump in. I'm going to talk more about this on my solo show in a couple of weeks. So I'm not going to deep dive on this right now. But the short version of the story is that both Cold-Blooded Cafe and Redline Shipping no longer have a relationship with that individual. And let me be clear, I don't root for bad things to happen to people, whether I like them or not. I just don't want them affecting my life or affecting the lives of the people that I care for. But actions have consequences. And if I were paying that person to represent me professionally, I would have dropped them as well. So my conscience is clear, and I feel very good, and I'm proud of my sponsors. I think that they are looking out for the good of our industry and not chasing, clicks and followers down to the bottom. That's what I had to say. I'm proud of Cold-Blooded Cafe, and I'm proud of Redline. Let me also be clear. I had no hand in that. I was wrestling with it internally, but news kind of spread of that. So there we are. For whatever it's worth, I am proud of Cold-Blooded and Redline. I'll tell you more about them later as we get into the show. Hey, I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. I think my internet just, I hope my internet didn't crap out on y'all right then. How about the Jags, 31-30, heading to the second round of the playoffs. Third largest comeback in postseason history. Hey, Tito over at Tradesman says we got lucky. I don't care, man. We can luck our way into the second round of the playoffs. I can luck my way through this industry, right? I'll do the hard work. I think the Jags have done the hard work. I'm happy for them. Congratulations to the Jags. Next week we got Jessica from the Hold Back Rack podcast. Great podcast. If you haven't seen it, go see it. Put the kids to bed and then grab a beer and go watch the show. It's fantastic. They deep dive, and they have this great charisma and chemistry that I can't have as one person. I certainly can't have as a male, and with two self-identified ladies that are great, irreverent, and certainly going to take their place on even footing with any man in the industry. I love it. I really enjoy their show. Jessica's incredibly analytical and insightful. You think I like my analytics and spreadsheets? Wait till we talk to her. So Jessica next week from the Hold Back Rack podcast. And then let me check my calendar over here. January 31st, in 2 weeks from tonight, I'm going to do a solo show. Actually, I don't like doing it. I'm terrified of doing solo shows because I can't engage the camera and engage the comments. And if I lose steam and momentum, I got nobody there to bail me out. And I don't know who will tune in just to see me. But when I play music, every now and again, I like to do a solo show because I think the truest form of a song is just a sort of a troubadour, a solo artist delivering a song. And to really truly see if your act holds up, I think you got to go solo sometimes. I think you got to see what you're made of, put yourself out there without a net, and know that you're going to do well because of the confidence you have in yourself and the support you have from the audience. So this is a community. We're going to do that. We're going to do that in 2 weeks. I filmed today. I filmed my How Much Did I Make in 2022 video. So that's another annual video that I've done. That'll be out maybe even as early as tomorrow, but certainly by Thursday or the weekend. And then Thursday evening, speaking of Redline Shipping, it'll be a video. You guys won't see it until I release it. But Robin Markland from Redline Shipping, who has been around the industry forever and is really a huge player. Like this is a I wouldn't say I get caught up in celebrity, but this is a big interview, and he's been great to me. He's been good for the sponsorship and the work that I do with REDLINE shipping. So he's been kind enough. We're going to do a video interview, and I'll have that video out, in a week or so as well. So that's pretty cool. And then I got just a great message today. Like, how crazy is the world? Like, it just brings me joy. Shout out to SSV Reptiles. I've never met this person. I'm assuming it's a guy, but I don't know if it's a man or a woman. They said, hey, Adam, first, some nice compliments about the show, and I very much appreciate that. And then they said, hey, we're renovating, and actually we've got a contractor coming in to redo our snake facility, and we need your input on sinks. What are we going to buy? And so I've got a sink consulting date tomorrow afternoon, I think. So thanks for the kind words and the trust. SSV Reptiles on Instagram. I know nothing more about them, but they seem like great people from their first message. So cheers for reaching out to me. The Goal Show. I'm going to bring Steven and Courtney. I think Courtney's on hand tonight. I heard her in the green room. I didn't see her yet, but I heard her. But Steven and Courtney, Leviathan Snakes. If you've seen the show before, you're very familiar with Leviathan Snakes. If you've not seen this show, you're probably familiar with them. They got some 17,000 followers on Instagram, another few thousand here on YouTube. They've been great friends and mentors to me. Please welcome back to the Proper Royal stage for more times than I can count, and I am grateful to be able to say that honestly at the moment, from Aiken, South Carolina, Steven from Leviathan Snakes. What's up, Steven?
What's going on, man? Also, Courtney is around, but she was on baby duty tonight, so that way I could do this. So she's not ready for this. She's in like pajamas. She's upstairs sleeping. Not even sleeping, but she's upstairs listening to it. So
look, man, I think I've said it on the show before. It's not snake related, but still deserves to be said. Whatever like superhero energy and strength that moms get, especially new mom, or I know this well, with newborns or young, very young ones, man, they deserve all the breaks, all the pajamas, all the nights off, whatever they want, man. It's like I've never seen it before. And to be honest, for like the first year and a half, other than taking the baby, just to drive around in circles, us guys are useless, man. There's nothing we can do. The babies don't want us. We can throw away some diapers and we can feed mom, but that's about all that we can do useful. So I get it. If she wants to join the show, feel free. And if not, send her my best, and we will catch up soon, of course.
Phil, getting it already.
Dude, right on cue, because I always forget these different things that I should promo. Yeah, Phil, thanks very much for the very kind donation. All the donations go to feeding, taking care of the animals. If you want to contribute, I would be more than grateful. And thank you very much, Phil. And yeah, that's a really kind of a nice sentiment. Thank you for giving us a reason to get together every Tuesday night. That makes me feel special and grateful as well for you all.
10,000%. Like, definitely, this is like the thing. I'm like, oh yeah, it's Tuesday. I need to jump into this. I'll miss like every now and then, but it is the one that I'm like,
no, you guys
the most religiously.
And what's great is that I do know most of the people in the audience in the chat, which is killer, because there's 40 of you now. Usually I peak around 8:40, 8:45. So if there's 40 now, we're gonna hit 60, which is great.
And I was just looking at, like, while you're going through like all the intro stuff, I was looking at all the people in the chat. And I know that we always talk about like the shout outs and all that stuff, but I love the fact that there is everybody in the chat, like we're all friends, like we know each other, we see each other's handles, and we know like, oh, Charlie, Reagan Renee Royal Pythons, Charlie, there's Ken, there's Jeremy and Holly I saw earlier. I have like literally a list. I was like, oh, here's all the people who are in.
Speaking of Jeremy and Holly, they're going to be like my summer camp bunkmates at Orlando next week. We're right next to each other. So like, when I need a bathroom break, I'm going to be like, hey, you two, I need a little help. And then when they're gone, I'm just going to switch some snakes around, especially the heads. That's how you do it,
Yes.
It's funny. When you order one ARS display, keys keys. I mean, like you just have like every breeder there could take every other breeder's snake. It's unreal on that. I'm sure that there's some, some next level racks and that kind of stuff, but it's just funny to me. And even in Jacksonville, a breeder walked up and he was like, "Oh, you got a little poo in there." And like, he opened it. He opened my display right in front of me. I'm like, dude, I don't even know you, man. So, all right, enough of the props. I don't think I'm a prop comedy guy. So how was your year? Well, when were you on? Did you do like the New Year's or the year end kind of hangout party?
So I didn't do the year-end one. My son Wyatt was down from Illinois and all that stuff. So it was like the last day, I think, before we took him back. Was the year-end party. So no, actually, I think it was the day that we took him back. But anyways, so I wasn't there for the year-end party, but you were. So we did just in 2022. I'm pretty sure that there was 3 times, maybe 4 times during 2022 that we did stuff together. We did the very first episode of 2022, which was last year's goals session.
Last year's goals show. We were on it then. That was I rewatched it today. That was the 4th. Like this year it took us till the 17th to get it figured out.
Yeah. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Right. So we had that one. We had the marketing one where we went through, it wasn't a live, but it was the collab where we did like the fantasy kind of what would we do if we had somebody who was coming to us for advice about starting up a ball python business. And we did that where we did one on yours and one on our channel.
Yeah, that was like the fantasy booking of the branding marketing world for snakes. That was cool. If y'all haven't seen it, talk about a deep dive. What did we do? 3 hours of content or so?
Yeah, it was a bunch. And honestly, we didn't even get to all of it. We need to do a follow-up.
I know. We still need like 2 more episodes. Maybe we'll get more of this this year.
So then I think that was 1, 2, and 3. One on 2 on yours, 1 on ours. And then we did for the campaign for the 50 minutes game contest. That one was super fun, which this over here, it's coming back. But
that's right. The last time we hung out, you shaved your eyebrow.
Yeah.
And that's not like those of y'all that didn't see it. That's not just some like weird, like inside joke expression. He just like in front of his wife, snatch the clippers because I like you set it up like you were gonna like go after your beard or something for some setup loss that you suffered on the show, and then you took your eyebrow.
2 things really quick before we move on. One, Will and Audra, you guys are doing amazing stuff. Like have you like
they're going to put us all out of business, man. We're all going to be like, just throw in the towel and pick a new species because Will and Audra are the future.
Yeah. And they're South Carolina natives.
I know.
We're actually, well, I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it later because it's part of the goals, but we have a thing that we need to invite them to because they're South Carolina breeders.
Oh, sweet.
But anyways, besides that, Courtney put a thing into the comments saying that my eyebrow still looks awful. And it doesn't. It looks beautiful. It's beautiful. Eyebrow.
In my opinion, you have a little bit of the benefit of a little bit of a lighter skin and a little lighter hair. Like if I took mine, I mean, you look like enough of a psychopath. I would get punched just for walking out and about looking like that, man. I'm glad it's growing back though for you. That would be challenging if not.
I'm good for it. I'm excited about it. I did make certain not to imply that you're going to be shaving any parts of your body in this one. So
no, we're not going to do that. The shaving is done. The shaving is done, man. And okay, so then that means real briefly, because Lord knows this got promoted plenty. But congratulations on winning the lamest breeders of 2022. That means that the votes came after that show because that was part of the promo of that contest. Yeah.
I was so freaking stoked, but yes. So it came after like the live that we did with you was part of our campaign to win Snakes in the Fat Man, Chris Eaton's Snakes in the Fat Man 15 Minutes of Lame contest. It was so much fun. It was awesome. If anybody has the chance to do 15 Minutes of Lame during 2023 or 2024, anything like that, I highly recommend it. It was a blast. We met so many people and made so many good friends throughout it. It was awesome.
Well, and the energy that you guys brought to it, there was you and Jana and
Reggie,
Reggie and Andrew.
Yeah. and Brian from Heathen Hatchery. He did some really, really cool stuff too.
I regret that I missed out on his. I got to go follow his channel and check back on some of it. But
it's funny. I'm not gonna. His very first one that he did, his first reel where he does the Karate Kid stuff, hilarious. I love it.
I definitely have to go check it out then, because I mean, seriously, the life and entertainment that the four of y'all collectively, without I don't know what was going on behind the scenes. I don't care. I don't think that there was anything. I'm not trying to create something that's not there, but the life that was presented to the audience and to the viewers was just fantastic. I thought it was great for our community, and for, every day there was a new reel or new something. And, Chris and I have very different products, but kudos to him. I mean, that was a great show. That was a brilliant, and when I say show, I mean, the 3-month period was a great show, and great initiative. And I think it did do good things for our community. And that is what we need. And you can have an irreverent show and still be bringing good things to the community. So I'm down with it. I think it's very cool.
But yeah, other than that, I'm trying to think of what else we did. Those are the big stuff. We also, we'll get into it. We'll get into all the stuff on what we did, because it deals with goals. So I can't talk about it yet.
All right. Well, let's get to it, because like I say, I got 2 pages of show notes, and I think I've been hit or miss on it, but I've been having this new segment on the show called Top 5. We'll do that right at 9:00 too. I got a top 5 to throw at you tonight. Okay. And you know what? I got one note before we jump in. As much as we've hung out, I completely forgot. And I relearned it today. What was it, 12 or 13 years you were active duty in the National Guard in South Carolina?
Yeah, so not just South Carolina. I was in the National Guard for 12 years. I did 7 years that were 7 years that were 1 week in a month.
The internet?
Oh no, can you hear me?
Oh, we lost him.
No. Chat, can you hear me? If not, I'm still talking. I might jump back out and jump back in.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. My internet has been spotty all day. And let me just make sure I'm on the right one. If I fall out, you know what? I'm going to switch over real quick. You tell about the 12 years where you left off, and I'm going to jump right back in. All right.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. So I was in the military. I was in the National Guard for 12 years. I joined literally, I think it was 8 days after I turned 17. So I did the first 7 years, 1 week in a month, the part-time stuff that most people think of for the National Guard. And then I did the last part of it all the way up until I did last 4 years. There was 1 year that the last year doesn't count on this, but I did 4 years on active duty. And that's where I was the social media manager for the South Carolina National Guard. I was the digital marketing manager for the South Carolina National Guard. It was a blast. Really, really good job. And then my last year it was not quite a year. I went back to part-time for the National Guard as I got the job that I currently have now. So with the bank that I do marketing for.
Thank you very, very much. As I told you a year ago, as I recapped it today, we all have the option of signing up, and many of us don't. So for that, I appreciate your service. And I do truly believe, and it makes me a hypocrite, I'll be the first to acknowledge, but I do truly believe that for the freedoms and the opportunity we have in America, we should all find a way to serve in some capacity. If the military isn't for you, find a way to serve in a community or to give back or something. So that's my 2 cents, but I wanted to say thanks. It struck me today, and I think it's worth noting. So thank you. Last year's goals. How's the connection now? Am I flowing better here?
It's perfect for me.
Okay, cool. If I drop out again, then I will switch. I've got a newer laptop in case it's the processor, but I'm sure it's my internet tonight. I couldn't. Anyway, forget that. We will move on. So we got to cover last year's goals. So let's not do as deep of a dive on last year's goals, because we got to get to this year's goals, which is the big prize of it all. So how about, do you have your notes from last year's goals or not?
No, I left my notebook at work when I was making the notes. Okay. I do have a rough idea. Do you have them?
I got them. I got that. This is a 1-year-old show prep.
Okay.
And this is today's show prep.
All right.
I know. I'm a madman. All right, here we go. You quick fire, thumbs up, thumbs down. These are the 2022 goals from last year. And some of these are just gold. These are great. Your number 5 goal last year was only one new project. How'd that go?
I'm going to say technically yes and no. So I would say no. We technically bought 2 new genes. Both of those genes were in our clown project. So however you want to look at it, if you look at it as like, oh, we were expanding our clown project and we didn't get into new projects, then we didn't get into new projects. Like, because both of the genes, one was a het clown, one was a visual clown, but they had other genes in them. Yeah. I look at it realistically as we got 2 new genes that we will work one hardcore as a project, and that's Neala. We got a Neala clown. We got a couple other Neala het clown females, and I'm stoked about that one. That one we are 100% going to be working the Neala clown project as its own project. Yeah. We also did get a lace yellow belly het clown female, and I look at that one as an extension of our clown project because I love lace. I am 100% team lace. I think it's super cool. But because we are not planning on having a whole bunch of lace clutches, we're just going to have her and then slowly build it up. That is just an extension of our clown project. So you can decide if we got that one or not.
Well, and that comes down to everybody's own definition, because there's so much overlap now. I bet 5 years ago, most people had a pied project, a clown project, and, their lavender project. Now you could have a clown pied lavender project. Okay. So what's a new project? What's not? I've found it more entertaining that we highlighted one underline. And when I say we, maybe it was just me. Your number 4 goal, which I even said on the show, I felt was a slam dunk, but it's a big moment, was to get monetized on YouTube. Yeah. So you accomplished that, yeah?
Yes. So I'm pretty sure we did it. So we did our goal in January. I'm pretty sure we got monetized in like February-ish time frame. Yeah. So we were pretty close to it. I think it was it was watch time that we had to get, and that we just got that. Also, I wanted to say to Luke real quick that she is upstairs sleeping in her pajamas because she's too cool to hang out with me.
No, she's in the chat right here.
Yeah, she's in the chat.
There she is, right on, spot on.
But yes, so we did hit that one. We hit that one. That was probably too low of a hanging fruit goal. But I think right now we're coming up on 2,300 followers on YouTube. Let me check. We are at 2,294 right now.
Nice. So, congratulations. And we won't have the same conversation again, but on that episode last year, we did dive a little bit, and it was interesting because you had more followers than I did, but you had commented that you thought I was more on my way to getting monetized because of the hours play. And I'll tell you, anybody that you're looking to build your community and build your watch hours, the lives are really where to do it. I made a note. Man, I got too many notes. I made a note on the show a year ago how pleased I was that the holiday hangout, the Christmas hangout episode prior, had gotten 100 watch hours. Like, it blew my mind. I think I used the expression like it broke my internet or something. And now each week my live show, I think my best one has been at like 150, but it's usually around 120 watch hours that my live shows get. So another thing I am grateful for. And another, like, that's why that's why having these like marked memories or moments in time that you can go back to. It's just a great like documentary of the whole journey. So I'm really glad it's going on. Your number 3 goal last year, again, it might have already been a foregone conclusion, but I'm not sure if you had it booked yet, if there was still uncertainty, was to go to Tinley. And you made it to Tinley this year? Yeah.
Yes. So we went to Tinley in March, and it was an amazing experience. It was awesome. So the show itself, we left with several snakes during that show.
Yeah.
But what I think was so much like the snakes was great. That was an awesome part of the show, but it was getting to meet so many different people face to face. We met so many people. We met like Gershon. We had met Keys, I'm pretty sure, in Daytona, or we at least, but we met so many people during that. And we ended up, my favorite part of our Tinley trip in March was going out to dinner. So Brock Wagner, Winston from WHS Reptiles, and Kevin Boa, they do a like dinner for a bunch of people that are kind of like close to them and all that stuff. So they invited us to it, and it was our first time going, and it was amazing. It was a blast. So yeah, we are excited for it this upcoming March.
So without a 10-minute interlude, Daytona or Tinley, pros, cons, differences, similarities, what'd you feel?
Tinley is, they're both really good in different ways. I like the fact that Daytona's on the beach and that it's warm out, because Tinley is terrible weather in March. Absolutely terrible. But I do feel like that there was, I don't know, I wasn't feeling like 100% like, I was feeling a little under the weather this last day.
Yeah, you were. Actually, yeah, I call it an Irish goodbye when you just like, poof, Adam's gone. Bye-bye. We were at the steakhouse, and then
I just was not feeling it like that. Like, not in any like bad way. I just was under the weather and all that. But definitely Daytona this year, we're gonna have a blast. But what I would say is Tinley for the snakes, Daytona for being able to hang out, talk to people.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Yeah. Courtney had a strong vote for Tinley over that. And you all were new parents at the time too. Like, you had a lot going on. So don't take that as me knocking you when you slipped out. I did not slow down or let that cause a hiccup in my evening one bit. I'll tell you that. I could have.
I owe you guys an actual night out drinking. So
I drank enough for about 4 of us that night.
You and Ken. Yeah.
Okay. Your number 2 goal, I only had this note, and I'm not sure if it's Instagram or where you were. You'll have to fill in the details. Your number 2 goal in 2022 says 10,000 organic super fans.
What's your
goal?
I doubt that one was it, because I feel like that is madness. 10,000 organic super fans would be wild. I would never have to work again.
Yeah, but you have 17,000 Instagram and 2 and change. I mean, you got 20,000 following you right now, and that doesn't count whatever you do or don't do on TikTok or Facebook or whatever.
I bet that and I don't know exactly what I said. I'd have to listen to it again to say it, but I bet you that it was hit 10,000 followers on Instagram. Organic, but because there's no way that I would have, like, I don't really know what to define a super fan, but the way I feel like a super fan would be is that somebody who is so loyal to you that it's like the Apple cult. The person who a new iPhone comes out, and even though they don't need it, they go and buy it because they love the brand that much.
Oh, most definitely on that part of it. You know what though? It could have been, I don't know. That could have been my own commentary, because we did get into, I had a definition of super fans because, and maybe it sounds like a cop out. I don't want it to be. For me, I've taken solace or comfort in the idea that again, maybe it's a cop out. I would love to have 20,000 followers on Instagram, but if I don't, that's okay. But what I need is between 100 and 1,000 super fans. And I define a super fan as somebody who will spend $100 to $1,000 a year with me. If I get 100 people to spend $1,000 or 1,000 people to spend $100, that's $100,000 gross. And if I get to $100,000 gross, I think I can be profitable enough that I will do nothing but snakes, YouTube, and play some music for kicks. So maybe that was my own commentary in there, because that is a definition that I have used a lot. That $100 to $1,000 window, 100 people to 1,000 people willing to spend that.
But I bet I'm willing to bet that it was Instagram. Hit 10,000 followers on Instagram, because I think we were really close to it when we did our live last time, which we just broke 17,000 on Instagram recently.
Yeah, you're smoking on Instagram, man.
Also, I do want to just because they have amazing snakes, and this is completely random and all that stuff, but Bomb City Balls, I don't know if anybody's checked them out on Instagram. Wild stuff. And they've been hugely supportive to me. We might have to connect a little deeper on a show sometime. But yeah, they've been. As a matter of fact, was chatting with them this afternoon. They've been hugely supportive to me. But yeah. So I'm going to go off of 10,000 followers on Instagram, and yes, we got that one.
You got that one. Okay. Well, so of those, I wouldn't say they were all slam dunks, but this one maybe posed a challenge, and I regret that I don't know the answer to this. This is truly will be a revelation to me, one way or another. So your number one goal was to produce a visual sunset. I believe you had a head-to-head pairing that you were going after, or had paired and had locked. But after the pairing and the lock, that's kind of where we were at last January. What was the verdict? What happened?
So it was a normal het sunset female to a visual sunset male. So we had 50% chance.
Oh, okay.
There were 8 eggs in it, and one of them did not make it through incubation. So there were 7 eggs that made it all the way up to the term, I guess.
Yeah.
They hatched 7 that they hatched. We cut, I want to say it was the first 4, and they were all normals. And we got 2 that were visual sunsets.
Okay,
so
cool.
Both females, we were stoked about it.
Yeah, I bet.
But that was one of them, because we've gotten burned, not bad, with super, super expensive snakes, but we've had 2 different snakes that we have bought as 100% het, whatever the gene was, that did not prove out to be.
Yeah. I had a double het that I that I bred 2 seasons, and I think I got 17 or 18 eggs out of her after 2 seasons. Not a one of them proved for the het,
Yep. So we did get that one. We only got 2. We only produced 2 sunsets, but I was so happy.
Hey man, that was double your goal then, because I only wrote down visual sunset. That doesn't sound plural to me. All right, so good year on the recap then. I mean, and I should have said this at the beginning. I like setting goals not because to determine if we're a success or a failure, but to give ourselves expectations. And if we don't meet the expectations, we can dig into why and figure out how to make it better so that we do meet the expectations. But you got it. You accomplished it, man.
I'm excited. Okay, so I don't have yours written down, but I will. You said that you were going to shave an eyebrow during 2022.
Now that's a lie, and we have the video to prove that's a lie, because I said a lot of things, but I didn't say that. I'll go real quickly through mine, and I'll give you the thumbs up, thumbs down, or the explanation. My number 5 goal was to produce 5 to 8 clutches. Boom! I produced 6 clutches last year. I did not hit or prove one or two of them. So I was kind of bummed on that, but I did strike gold on a female that I did not realize was visual hypo. So I got a whole clutch of hypos that was unanticipated. And really, I just picked up steam for 11 hypos, man. So that was cool in that way. So check mark on that one. I got that. And let me go through these really quick, because I did pretty well on these too. My honorable mention goals were to establish an email list, which I do have. If you want to be on it, I just send out an inventory list once a month, and I try and get things on that list before I put them on Morph Market. So as viewers, no obligation, no cost. I don't charge nothing. Just email me, properroyals@gmail.com. But I did get that out. So check mark there. One of them was the promo merch game. So the merch game has been non-existent. The promo game's been pretty well. This my chef coat with the logo, that's happened since that show. My banner has happened since the show. The I wouldn't say totally unique business cards. And I think business cards are pretty archaic, but mine has a QR code that links to LinkTree. So I never have to update the business card. I just update the LinkTree link. So that was pretty good. And then affiliate marketing. I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole. That was a bust. I'm not any good at that. Zero return on that investment. So boom, X marks the spot on that one. My number 4 official goal was to be YouTube monetized and get more than two times or 100% more subscribers. And I did do both. I didn't know for sure, but I was quite sure I'd get monetized. And that, same as Steven, was about in February. But I did manage to double my subscribers. So Steven, I think you said you're either at 2,300 or knocking on 2,300. I think I'm at 1,930 as of right now. So you've pulled away from me, but I did double mine up because I was at, I don't know. I was at 900 something, 906 subscribers on last year's goals. My number 3 goal last year, which is amazing to think that this amount of time has passed. I didn't have my sink and I didn't have my floors in my building. And my goal was to get the sink plumbed in, to put in new floors, and to set up an efficient operation. And here's what's really amazing about it. In January last year, I had 27 snakes. I was worried about efficiency and cleaning and being able to move with caring for 27 snakes. And I think, I don't say this as a flex because a lot of it's inventory and I don't have sunsets and that kind of thing, but I've got 87 animals right now or something like that. So success. This one's really, really cool. Oh yeah, this was great. Got to let the cat out of the bag here. I'm super proud of this. My number 2 goal was to 3x my gross revenue from 2021. So my gross revenue in 2021 was $4,508. 2022, I ended the year at $15,240.
Awesome.
Yeah, $15,241 of gross revenue. I just filmed the "How Much Money Did I Make" episode today, so you got to go watch that in a day or two to find out where the chips fell. But step 1 is always getting the money in the door, and 15,000. So thanks for everybody. Now that includes selling animals, advertising on YouTube, and sponsorship game. So all very good. But by and large, I think it was 12,000 in animals, 3,000 in other things. So I did quite well, relatively speaking. My number 1 goal was to purchase a double visual, and my goal was a clown pied. Now the goal at the time was to partner with an investor, which I had been talking in deep talks with. And then the crypto market fell out because he was going to invest a Bitcoin. He was going to invest not a Bitcoin, an Ethereum in buying a clown pied, and that we would split the residuals from that clown pied in the future. And the crypto market fell apart, so that didn't happen. But here's what I did do. I did buy a double visual. It was not a clown pied. It was a hypo pied, but it's also super. It's a super pastel. So not as powerful because of the popularity of the genes of clown and pied, but genetically a double visual super. That's as hard to make as a triple, right?
What is
a double visual?
Yeah. Because I don't know what the odds of a triple are, but yeah, because it would be 3 homozygous genes.
Right. Yeah. So I got one of those, and he's doing good work. He's already locked, and we'll see if he produces some babies. So all in all, a year I'm very happy with. I'm very proud of. It's not my primary source of income. I can't live on 15,000, even if I had 0 expenses from the business. So time to get on with the goals of 2023. I took that whole segment. I didn't mean to, Steven. What did I miss in there, gloss over, that we should highlight?
So not that I don't know if there was anything that you specifically said where I was like, oh, what about like this? So quick question. though it doesn't necessarily have to deal with it. So I believe, like, because we talked about it last year, you're talking about a clown pied, and the reason why you wanted to get a clown pied is you wanted to go for the exanthic clown pied, and that you wanted to get a clown pied male to pair and like work your way in that direction. And I think at the time, clown pieds were like $4,000-ish. They've come down considerably since last year. I think they're in like the $2,000 range-ish. I'm not super big into the clown pied project, so I don't know. Is it something that you still want to go after, or?
Yeah, I do. And for the longest, you will find what I've said on video before was that I wasn't really sold on clown pieds. I thought they lost the definition of the clown under the pied. What's that?
Ken's clown pieds?
Yeah, Ken converted me. Ken's clown pieds. Ken at Primal Scales. Go see this man's morph market if you want to see what a clown pied should look like, and you want to see, a clown pied that'll get you excited. Yeah, if I could have. If not that I think that I will, this is not one of my goals. This is just a pipe dream. If I have a $4,500 Orlando weekend this weekend, mark my words, my man Ken at Primal Scales is getting a phone call. Now, I don't know if that snake is still in the inventory or not, but yes, I would be thrilled to have that animal. It's less of a priority, as you all know, or I think a lot of people know. I bought a ton of snakes in 2022. I never thought that I would. But with the falling economy and the falling prices and the opportunity to buy in bulk and some collections, and that started in February. I got a phone call out of the blue in February for a gentleman that wanted to sell me his collection of 30 snakes. And it was off to the races at that point. So, I mean, I have plenty going on. But yes, I would look to the opportunity to upgrade to a clown pied if I found another one the caliber of what I saw Ken produce, and I had the money.
Yep. No, they were amazing. Like we are not super big into pied. We have a little bit of pied, but I feel like clown pied, I always have thought that it's like, okay, yeah, it changes the head stamp, but it doesn't do that much until I saw Ken's, and I'm like.
Yeah. Yeah, but, I was like, geez. And I don't know that I have no reason to think that that's genetic. But hey, it's a better chance of reproducing it than a typical one, Yeah, so.
And he had multiple ones that are super high patterned from the same clutch, right, Ken? I don't know if you can put it in the thing. I know we're not talking about, this isn't Ken's clown pied segment, but they are the best. I swear to you, I am going to hold this down. Maybe not genetically, but if you take the Justin or the Canova's trifecta, the Desert Ghost clown pied, and put it next to Ken's looks better. And it's just a clown pied. And it's because of the pattern. It has so much pattern to it. I know it's not nearly as powerful genetically, but it is the best looking clown pied, hands down, period, in the world.
Yeah, I loved them, man. And they caught my eye like immediately. Anyway, go check it out. Like I say, Ken, if I hit the home run, both you and Charlie have Charlie from Reagan Renee Royal Pythons have phone calls that I owe this year. But no, I'm always happy to promo Ken's stuff, man. He's been an awesome supporter of the show, and I did get to hang out in Daytona with him as well. So, all right. With that being said, why don't we get to? Do you have any honorable mentions, like something that made like
yes,
slot number 6 or 7? We wanted to you want to cover real fast for your goals for 2023?
Yeah. So I actually did my goals a little bit different this time. I know I did 5 goals, but I didn't rank them. I have them on different areas of the business. So I have goals for infrastructure. I have goals for snakes. I have goals for marketing. I have business goals, and I have a personal goal. But the honorable mention, because I was going off of last year's one, is something. The reason
I'm making my notes for next year. I'm on to page 3 of notes. This is blank paper now. So this will go in the file for 20. I mean, I lose track of the years. 2024's goal show.
All right. So our honorable mention goal, the reason why I picked this as an honorable mention is it's completely up to chance, really, and there's not a whole lot that we can do about it.
Okay.
But we have had 2 100% hets not prove out to be het. We have had 2 animals that were either like pos het or pos a different gene that we tested and they didn't prove out. So we have gone for like animals that either should have had a gene or possibly could have had a gene, 0 for 4. 1 animal this year as our honorable mention I want to prove out. And I think we have 2, maybe 3 animals that this could do it. There are 2 66% pos het sunset females that we have, where if we could prove one of them out, that'd be awesome. And then we also have our leopard sunset, who looks completely different than other leopard sunsets. She did not prove to have yellow belly, so the only other gene that's even possible, given the pairing, was Inchy, so maybe she might have Inchy. Okay. And if she goes, that's our thing. That's a honorable mention. We have no control over it, but let's break the bad luck of not proving stuff out.
Yeah, those of y'all that are newer, less new than me, I'm plenty new in the game. Phil said you got to make your own hets. If you find a trustworthy breeder, man, buy from them. Like, don't like. I hate to say it, I'm a snob about who I buy from now. I mean, and I'm the guy, I was buying recessives in the parking lot of Dollar General, man. Like, those days are behind me. I had to do it to get where I'm at, but I'm done with that stuff, man. So yeah, either make your own or you got to buy from, if you find a trusted breeder, just stick with them, stay loyal to them. All right. What else you got for honorable mention?
That's my only honorable mention. I did make an honorable mention because of last one, but what's yours? What is your honorable mention that didn't quite make the cut?
You know what? I got caught up. I did not rank these. I got to rank these really fast. Hang on. Okay.
Also, while you're ranking them, I'm just by the way, I know we talk about this all the time whenever we're on the show, but this chat, Adam's community, like all of the people in the chat, is my favorite community in all of the reptile hobby. It is awesome. Everybody's so positive and supportive. You guys kill it.
Boom. I could not agree more. And I'm lucky. Like, I really am lucky. I hope everybody understands my gratitude. It blows me away. I'm sitting in a garage in front of a nice camera, and I got this stick where I put on a coat, and this is built. This is beautiful. We've got 70 people hanging out tonight. Like, I hate to say it, I don't get 70 people at most of my music gigs, and I consider myself pretty professional at that. So I'm very, very, very thankful. So okay, so I guess I got 2 honorable mentions, and one is kind of a not super long term, but a long-term plan. So it's not even tied to 2023 specifically, but I guess in this way, I want to set up and have the infrastructure and capital investments to house, own, care for, and use to produce 55 breeder females within 2 to 3 years. So next year, if I don't buy any this year, I'm projecting next year I'll have 31. If I hold back, 10 this year, so in 2 to 3 years, I'd like to have 55 breeder females. But to do that, I need to make sure I have the right infrastructure. And I'm really, other than the appropriate number of hatchling racks, I'm actually there. I have enough hold back, grow out racks for, 17 to 20 males. So it's really the hatchling rate and housing. So I'm excited about that, but that's a goal that I'm just working towards. I want to make sure that I have that. My other honorable mention is, and it's really important. It could be number 6, is to increase my revenue streams. I've always had a challenge with Patreon. Part of the challenge is up here in my head that I don't necessarily think I'm worthy or have any groundbreaking whatever to offer. I'm getting over that. That's okay. But I came up with a groundbreaking idea that I don't think anybody else is doing. And I need a little computer IT help with it. And I actually have an appointment this week with another ball python breeder who's he's a web app developer, matter of fact, of many other things and skills. But I've got to get his insight on how to bring this to life. But that's one of my goals. So I intend to 30 to 45 days. I intend to have that up and running and have that as an opportunity to increase my community and revenue streams. So that's my honorable mention. So Steven, pick I know you said that they're not ranked, but mine are ranked. So maybe pick an order of what's most special to you or least special, what the number 5 goal would be. Oh, there's David was who I was talking about the developer, Wes, he goes by, but David Welch in the chat. Yeah, he and I we'll get together sometime this week.
Speaking of him, because he has us, and I know from last time, I need to read out the questions, but he was just asking for anybody watching the replay or listening to this. David asked if we were going to have any Het Ultra Sunsets hatching this year. We are not going to have any more hatching for the 2023 season. We do have one double Het Sunset Ultramel male right now. He's on Morph Market. I think we have him for $1,000.
Ooh, there we go. Making friends and connections on the Proper Royals live.
But yeah, if you're interested, let us know. We'll hook you up. Like, we got you.
So there you go. All right.
All right, number five. So I'm gonna go off of number 5 is going to be snakes. And again, this isn't necessarily that's our lowest goal, but it's the one that we have the least control over because there's a level of odds and randomness into it. And this is for our snake goal. There's one for Courtney, there's one for me, even though we both want both of these things. Courtney's is that she wants to produce a super asphalts. This is our first year for a chance at super asphalts. We have a female maker banana, Inchy Orange Dream, guaranteed asphalt that we picked up from Josh and Jackie of the Ball Python Shed. We're stoked about him. He's been an amazing breeder so far. We haven't gotten a clutch from him, but he locks all the time. He's really, really good. He eats well. And then he is being paired to our Inchy Freeway or Mardi Gras female that we got from our friend Troy at Balls and Strikes. And she is so bright. Her colors have held so well. She is one of the best looking Mardi Gras that we've ever seen. And she's huge. So they've both been locking. She's building. We're pretty excited about that. But that's our only shot for super asphalts this year. So that is Courtney's hit super asphalt this year. And then mine for the snakes was with the Neala project. This is our first year being able to produce babies in the Neala project. And the snake that got us into the project, Billy from Mutation Creation highlighted it as his snake of the week in like February or March last year. It was a banana Neala yellow belly clown. It's wild. One of the most crazy snakes you've ever seen. If you want to check them out, go to BPM Reptiles on our Instagram or BPM Reptiles on Instagram. There's wild stuff with the Neala Clown project. And that's the one I'm most excited about, is being able to hit a banana Neala clown this year. We have one shot at that.
And it's an incomplete dominant, right? I mean, you're going to get it right. You could get it out of the gate.
Yes. Neala is incomplete dominant.
Yeah. I am a believer. I'm a convert on Neala, and I'm not going to say from who, because there's only one I think that they have in their inventory. But I found a male that is actually reasonably in my price range and is here in this country. I may very well buy one. It's a cool animal and a male I could get going right away, you know.
Real quick, I want to answer Will's question. So Neala is, just in case anybody hasn't seen it, but you can go and check it out on Morph Market. They have like their Morphopedia and all that stuff. So it is a darker morph that looks, the way I would describe it in its base form is like mahogany is probably the closest one to it. And what is not good for the project, in my opinion, is that the super form of Neala looks very, very similar to a Suma, a super mahogany. The difference that he's done is that, and you can check out like the Morph Market thing where he shows like the different combos, because that was one of the things that came up when he was getting Neala added to Morph Market as its own gene, is he had to show the different combos with like Neala and Leopard, or I think it was like Neala and Pied and stuff like that, versus Mahogany, to prove that it was different before they added it as its own standalone gene. So I believe that he's proved that it's different, but I imagine that it probably is allelic with Mahogany, given the fact that they have the same super or a same looking super. So I imagine it's something similar to like a cinnamon and black pastel situation.
Yeah. Huh. That's kind of neat, because I did pick up a Mahogany Pied. He's that mean little son of a gun that I have, but I'm excited to put him to use, man. He would be cool in bananas or a banana hypo project, especially with the Pied gene in him. I'm making myself a note to check out some of those pictures.
Will also ask, Neil is more like granite though, right? Honestly, I don't think that it looks anything like granite. Again, you can check out single genes of it. I think that its closest one is the closest closest current gene is mahogany to Neala. But I also agree with him. Striker is amazing. It's one of the coolest ones. I think the Super Striker looks very, very similar to the Zebra.
Oh, Striker. I'm not familiar with that at all.
But
wow.
different
Nice.
genes.
I gotta check out. Yeah, no, right. Yeah, I have to check that page out. Lauren, you're probably right. Lauren says, I think your mahogany pie suffers from small man syndrome. Yeah, he's got, I'll leave that alone. But yeah, he's always ready for a confrontation. All right. Well, okay. So do we want to bat our fives?
Yeah. What's your number 5?
All right, my number 5 for this year, which is not a guarantee. It's not a slam dunk. It's along the lines of what you talked about on proving yours out. I want to produce a double visual, which was my goal last year, because I thought that I had that double het that proved to be nothing, or has not proved yet to be anything. I don't know. Maybe I'll test it. I don't know. I'm done spending time on that. I don't know. But I have currently right now a lavender female 66% het pied, and she is locking with a lavender 100% het pied that I got from George MD. So like, if anybody that I feel like I could trust, George is pretty high on the list of trustworthy breeders. So I trust that the male is absolutely het pied. I don't know. I bought that lavender 66% het pied as a hatchling. I bought that as a tiny little snake several years back now, and she is breeding, and she's big. She's good size, and things are going well. She has follicles because I have an ultrasound now, and I can check such things. So I am hoping that I could produce a dreamsicle, or at the very least prove that she's het for pied. If not, I'll have a bunch. They'll all be lavender babies, and they'll be 50% of them het for pied statistically. So I have to do some testing and then some more waiting, because the male is the one that I know for sure. So my number 5 is to produce a double visual, and because I'm out of other options for this year, it will have to be a dreamsicle if it happens. Next year, I should have ultra clowns. I should have clown hypo clowns. I could have more dreamsicles. So next year I got a really great shot, but this year's breeding, that's my only shot at a double visual.
I mean, get it, man. I know you've been working towards the double visuals, the multi-recessive for a while.
Yeah. And I got a ton to me of double het holdbacks. I got some triple het pickups in there. Several different projects crisscrossed. So, I mean, there's good things coming, but as we all know, it just takes time. So that's my number 5. What do you have for your number 4?
All right. So we did snakes as our number 5 because it's not something that we can really control. The number 4 is going to be something that we, there's not one specific thing. So it's our marketing goal for the year. So our first, this is our 3rd season breeding ball pythons. And our first 2 seasons breeding ball pythons was really focused on generating brand awareness for our brand within the reptile community. And essentially what we wanted to do is not get to the point where the majority of anybody who could potentially be a customer of ours has at least heard about us. And I hope that we've done that, even if people don't like us, but they've at least heard about us at least once, kind of thing. So what we are doing for 2023 is we're moving into the engagement portion of, if we're looking at the inbound flywheel or anything like that, or conversion consumer marketing funnel. Oh, what's it? I can't see it. Oh, there you go. Yes. So we are moving
awareness, engagement, then conversion, then advocacy. I keep it. Yes. That's right front and center on my desk every day.
So do you want, I don't know if you want to hit John since he has a super chat. And again, thank you guys so much for these super chats. I know I don't get any money for it, but it is awesome. And I just really like how supportive everybody is in the community for Adam.
A huge thanks, and no amounts too little or too much for that matter. But no, I'm very appreciative because because we all work hard for our money. How hard would it be to get a 4-year-old male to breed that has never bred? John, it should be very simple. You should right about now, or the next good thunderstorm that you get, or good pressure drop or weather system, throw them in with a female that's over 1,500 grams and, 2 to 3, has had 2 winters behind her. I bet you see some action, but it should not be any harder than that, though. Some go, some don't, some have their own personalities, but that's my opinion. Steven, what do you say?
Yeah, I agree. I think that one thing that we've noticed is not all of it, we don't have a lot of snakes to use as definitive, this is enough data to show it. Anecdotally, our biggest males get lazy and that they don't want to lock. So we find that our males that lock the best are in the 700 to 900 gram range.
Good insight. So yeah, I mean, maybe he's just an old dude that's, doesn't feel like it anymore, but I'd give it a go. It should not be too very difficult. You can follow my saga on my Instagram of me trying to get a 7-month-old male to lock. He is I think he's right at 900 grams, and I've tried every trick in the book. I'll check him tonight. We'll see if the car ride did him any good yesterday. Yeah, John, thank you so much for the fine contribution, man. I appreciate it. Good luck with your mail. Okay, so your marketing goal to move into the engagement. How does that look different from the awareness time?
I apologize. I was talking to Courtney. She's going to jump in here in a second. But
Cool.
Can you repeat the question one more time?
Yeah, what does you talked about going from the awareness sector or strategy to the engagement strategy of your brand? How does that look different? What are you going to be doing differently?
So for the engagement, the goal of this is that we want people not just to become aware of our brand, but we want them to take mind share of the person. We want people thinking about our brand. We want people really interacting with our brand, and not just leaving a like on Facebook, but commenting, having genuine conversations with people, building up those deeper connections, and all of that is what the engagement portion is. And the way that we are going to do this is we have I put down 5 different things that we are going to do for this. So the very first one, which everybody does, is shows. Okay, so we are going to, we always vend the Grovetown, Georgia Show Me Snakes show. So if anybody happens to live in the area, definitely go to the Grovetown show. It's our favorite local show. It's just really nice and really good. We really like that show. But we want to go there and just meet people and talk and do all of that stuff. Again, engaging with the local community. We also want to go to Daytona and Tinley, and again, just networking. Tinley, we're going to be doing the dinner with Brock again. We're going to be meeting up with a bunch of people at Tinley. We want to organize another get together like we did last year at Daytona, so where hopefully I'm not sick and I can actually participate in it. And do all of that. Again, trying to build up that engagement, those genuine friendships with people in the community, a kind of the networking piece of it. The 2 that I'm most excited about is that we are organizing a reptile breeder party for people in South Carolina area. And we're looking at May for it. So we're going to be inviting people to come and do a cookout and stuff like that. And it's going to be really fun. We're excited about that one. So that's one of them to go on in the engagement portion for our marketing strategy, our marketing goals. And the one I'm most excited about is throughout all of 2023, we are going to be traveling around the country. In February, we're heading up to New York City, and we're going to be recording a ball python documentary with a bunch of people from around the country for it. So hopefully that's goal cool. Is to we know what the story is going to be. We know the idea. We have to go get the interviews, but we're doing all the interviews in person. We want a professional quality. We want it to look like a documentary. And we want to be able to post it at the end of the year.
That is cool. Well, man, that's a fantastic step forward. And man, that makes my goals not seem. That's a massive goal. Good for you for putting that out there. That's killer.
We're trying to. We'll hopefully.
That's cool.
Yeah. So.
Well, that's why. But that's why we make goals. It's not if they were guaranteed, they'd just be foregone conclusions. So I think that's fantastic. Let me know on that weekend in May that you are doing that. South Carolina is not Florida, but I've got a pretty good track record of hitting the high country in South Carolina and pretty good time. For 10 years, I went from Jacksonville to Rutherford County, North Carolina, which is just across the state line from Spartanburg. So I could probably be in your neck of the woods in around 5 hours.
100%. 5 hours? Hell yeah. 100% guided. Yeah. No, well, I'll give you the details. We're still figuring out the exact weekend, but I'll let you know. So.
Okay, that's cool. It's funny. May is when all the snowbirds in Florida leave, and like the Florida bar economy changes significantly. So from May forward, if I want gigs, I have to play at 10 at night till 2 in the morning. But all my gigs up until April are 2 p.m. Saturday and Sunday afternoon gigs. So they end in May. I'll be a little more open in May.
All right. Awesome.
Killer, man. That's a stout goal. I wish you well on that. I can't wait to see the results. And that's killer, man. Mine is I was going to say along those lines. It's along one of the lines, but it's not at the magnitude of that. I agree. I should be known in my area. I should be known regionally. I should have interaction. And the way that I'm going to accomplish that is not only being at shows, but vending shows. So I want to vend 8 shows this year. And then I'll go to Daytona. I don't know. Maybe I'll vend Daytona, but I'm going to go to Daytona and attend it. And then I see Alan and Jeremy Bod cooking up a road trip already, but I actually would like to do what they're talking about, which is where I go work for somebody and I'll help drive to Chicago and do the work. Just let me tag along and, sleep on the couch or wherever I end up. But I want to vend under my own banner 8 shows. And somebody made it, I think it was Beast Morphs, made a comment. We got so many great shows in this region. I need to get on that circuit. I need to be known on that circuit. And I certainly need to be a player in the Jacksonville market. It's amazing. Jacksonville is one of the top 10 cities population wise and size wise. I think is number 1 land area. There's no reason that if I'm not producing well in my back, that I should produce in my backyard. I shouldn't look past that. So, and if ever really there was a snake town, Jacksonville would kind of fit the bill. I mean, I know the reputation North Florida has here in this little hamlet. So that's what I'm looking at, but I'll see you all around Florida on the show circuit this year. So that's my number 4 goal, is vending 8 shows.
That's awesome. All right, hold on. Courtney, I know, has a goal that she wants to talk about. Here, she's
all right.
Here, you can just pick one that's not.
Hi.
Here's what she wants to talk about. Just pick one. It's good.
I can hear all of it. You can leave that on.
Okay. So,
Courtney, how are you?
Okay. I'm doing well, Adam. How are you? I can hear. You've got those up as loud as you could possibly get them, so I can hear everything from the kitchen. Now you can't.
Oh no, here.
There.
Can you hear us?
He can hear.
Yeah,
us.
I can hear you. I was just debating whether I should encourage. I was thinking of telling Courtney to take it easy on you, else you might risk shaving another eyebrow of your own off.
Come here. I want to do it by myself. I'm sorry. I was getting the baby down, and I'm just tired. Yeah. So, are we on another goal?
Yes, we're doing 3 now, right?
So
yeah, we're on number 3.
This one was probably actually a goal for 2022 and we didn't hit it. We were self-sufficient on rodents in 2021, and then we cut back, and we were expecting to get right back up to production by I don't know. I think we genuinely thought by summer we would be self-sufficient in rodents, and we've not even gotten close. So a goal for 2023 is by the end of 2023, we want to be completely self-sufficient on rodents. No need to buy any ever if we can help it.
Yeah. So you're still on the path of, or on the mindset of, it's worth the time, it's worth the effort, the headache to breed your own.
So with what we produce right now, when we were not self-sufficient, it was incredibly stressful with the hatchlings, because the first like couple meals we do frozen thawed, and we do live, and it's just kind of a pain to do all of the frozen thawed, like get them out, warm them up. Those little ones, those little hopper mice, they burst easier than anything else.
Yeah, you got to get them hot and feed. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, those drive me crazy. So we really prefer live for the little babies. And it was really close a couple times. Like we'd really rather be feeding every 5 days, and it was definitely closer to 7, sometimes 10 days, and didn't like that at all. So we really want to be self-sufficient again, especially for hatchling season.
Yeah, I understand it. And I've obviously, for anybody who's watched my show, you guys know that I've gone a different path, but I have found an incredibly reliable breeder locally for my live needs. And then through sponsorship and ad revenue and all of that stuff, I've offset my cost of my frozen thawed. And for me, I have the rhythm down where the timing, I'm sure it's not as fast as feeding live, but it's pretty fast for me. It's doable. Yeah. So.
When we first started, we were entirely frozen thawed, and now we're a lot higher on live. But when I was pregnant, I couldn't stand the smell of them, so we cut back, and it's just been, we like doubled the number of snakes we had, so it was really hard to get back up to self-sufficient.
Yeah, well, and you all have held back a lot too. You're going to keep growing, right?
Yeah, so we we'll come back over. We held back 20 snakes, I think. We bought much less than normal, but again, we stopped breeding, I want to say in August of 2021. We stopped breeding rodents ourselves. So all of 2022, we haven't been self-sufficient. So anything we bought between like September 21 and now has been an addition, plus all the holdbacks, plus the hatchlings that we still have.
No, we're probably spending like what, $600 to $800 a month,
$200 a week roughly on rodents, and that's with like what we have. We actually were getting pretty good on just mice. We weren't mice and ASF, so we were getting back up to production. And then with that deep freeze that we had, we moved where we kept the rodents the same week as that freeze. And one night we forgot to cut the heater on, and there was like a week where they just slowly, it didn't matter that we caught it, just a week of them slowly dying off. So
oh man,
a bunch of them died, and then we had to like rebuild the colonies.
But Bree Smoky Mountain Balls, she just sold us several good female rats in an ASF colony. Here, I'll switch you. So we're much closer to being self-sufficient again.
All right. Well, good luck on the goal. I don't have much. I'm out of the rodent game, and happily so. I've created my world a little bit around that, and my business needs around that. So I will say good luck. But absolutely, having feeders and options is where it should be. It's 9:17. Let's take 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes, real quick. I'm not going to do the full promos. Guys, you know what I think of REDLINE shipping. It's phenomenal experience, phenomenal pricing. And if you haven't checked them out, use the promo code proper5. Get yourself $5 off your next shipping label. But when you do it, just seriously, check out the interaction, check out the ease of which you can make your labels. And then if you're really just not a believer, for kicks in the middle of shipment, call them up, ask them for an update of where your package is. They're going to find out right away for you. Like they have contacts on the ground in the Memphis hub and in the Indianapolis hub. It's amazing. So check out REDLINE shipping. And then Cold Blooded Cafe, you heard me. I feed all frozen thawed when I can. And it's about 80 to 85% of my collection any given week that I feed frozen thawed, and I always feed Cold Blooded Cafe. We'll spare you the details of rodent production as it crosses with my experience in the restaurant, but their technology, their facility is phenomenal. Check out Cold Blooded Cafe, and you can use the promo code CBC as in Cold Blooded Cafe and the number 5 to save $5 off your next order from them. Do me a favor, if you do that, shoot them a note on Instagram or email them. Let them know that I sent you. They don't have a way to track my value as a sponsor, and I want I want them to know. It would mean the world to me if you would. So check out the sponsors. Last is Chris at BNS Reptilia. Chris has been extremely good to me, and in a lot of ways he means the most because He is a dude doing what I want to be doing with snakes. He's a full-time breeder. He's a great guy. He's been a great mentor and a great help. He also is the distributor in Pennsylvania for the Chipper Cocoa. And so you could go see him for your snake needs, your cocoa needs, and your knowledge needs. Be good to Chris at BNS Reptilia. You can find all of those links down below in the description, as well as Steven and Courtney's LinkTree link to find them everywhere that they exist out on the web on the LinkTree. We're in the middle of goal number 3, and yeah, this is important here, actually. Jeremy Bod, and this is true, it's pretty funny. Adam can't breed rodents. His face starts to melt after 10 minutes. Man, I was filming in Jeremy's rat facility, which is amazing, by the way. His whole house is amazing. And it was just like a punch in the face on allergies. And I was like, I got to get out of it. And it started with like the runny nose and like my throat. I was like wheeze. I was like, I got to get out. And I just left in the middle of filming. I just walked out. I was like, I'm done. So I won't be breeding rodents. I promised you we're going to take a little halftime. We're halfway through the goals. We're halfway number 3. I promised you a top 5 segment. This is a off-the-cuff question for you. I know it.
Oh, no.
And I just want 5 quick answers that come to mind, and you don't take more than 5 minutes on it. So I call it top 5. Here's my question and my context. I'm completely self-employed right now in this year. I'm in a very strange situation that the budget that my customer set for January that they were willing to spend on me, which I agreed to and was great for the whole month of January, I reached that billing in 9 days. So the client told me, well, come work 1 evening a week until February because you've made your money, which is great. I'm thankful for, and I'm happy. However, I have not made my goals on what I want to be achieving on selling snakes, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But I have all this free time. So if you had free time, what are the top 5 moves you would make immediately to try and jumpstart snake sales with inventory that you currently have? I have inventory. I have a show coming up, and I have this platform in this community. What do I need to do? What would you recommend to somebody like me to jumpstart their snake sales? You got 5 minutes to tell me your top 5 answers on that.
All right. First one I would do is I would take a look at what animals do you have available. This is both price point, this is like appearance, and then make a realistic like determination of who would be best served by that animal. So if you have, like, for example, I'm going to say, like, let's say that you have an absolutely beautiful inchy pastel, no hets, nothing like that. That snake probably is not going to be best serving a breeder, given the current state of the ball python market, but it could serve a pet owner, maybe somebody for the first snake or something like this. So I would take it and analyze all of the animals that you have available and figure out which animals are good for which markets. Then, so that's step 1. All right, is segment your animals into who is going to be best served by those animals. Second one is I would go with the animals that best serve breeders, and I would post them on Morph Market if they are not already on Morph Market. That's like the easiest one. That's the one that people most often think of.
Sure.
I would go, if you're going digital, if you're going to do snakes that best serve pet owners, I would, if you had the time, if you had the resources, I would set up a website that is an e-commerce website, like actual e-commerce. You can do it through Square. It costs like $100 a year, I'm pretty sure, to do it. But it will take payments just like it would take on there. You can set up your inventory. That's how our website is. If you want to check out leviathansnakes.com, our website is built off of Square. It's super easy. You don't need to know any like coding. It's awesome. But what I would do is I would take all of the animals that best serve pet owners and put them on there. So whether you say that's any animal that's under 500, any animal that's under 300, it's up to you. And then I would set it up so that way somebody could potentially pay and buy the animal like they would on any other website, any other e-commerce website, on your website. The reason why is that pet owners, when they see Morph Market, that is not something that they are used to. They don't like the idea of going on to Morph Market and Venmoing somebody money, friends and family, to buy a $300 snake. But if they go to a professional looking website, that's something they're used to. And they can like check out through there. That's actually how we bought our very first snake. Courtney found him found Dynasty. We got our very first snake. It was a banana inchy calico on Morph Market, but she did not, and she found other snakes on Morph Market she liked, but she did not buy them because she thought it was sketchy to send somebody money like PayPal or friends and family. And instead she went to Dynasty because she could check out on their website, and she was used to that. She was used to that approach, like buying online.
So sorry to interrupt, because one of my rules on top 5 is that I try not to interrupt. On the Square marketplace, is it like leviathansnakes.com/square yada yada? Or is it
just leviathansnakes.com? Like I said, type it in. Just check it out. If you want to check out our website.
Okay, no, and I understand that concept. So if you own the domain name, Square will build you can tie in the Square marketplace onto the domain name.
Yes.
This is why I asked these questions. This is fantastic. I hope you guys are taking notes. All right, the next thing you would do.
All right, so then again, going off of digital. So once you have your e-commerce set up for pet owners specifically, and tailor your content for pet owners. So make the advertisements, like your headlines, your copy, all that stuff on the things like pet reptiles, pet ball pythons, best pet snakes, things like that, because that market is the pet owners, not other breeders. That's the important thing, is you're not making content for other breeders, you're making it for pet owners. Do stuff that's going to appeal to them, husbandry things like that on your website. So then what I would do is I would take whatever amount of money that you are comfortable spending in a month. Let's say you want to start off at $100, and I would go buy Google search ads for $100, and you're going to get a ton. I bet you for $100, you're going to get thousands of placements for those ads, where you are going off of keywords of like pet ball python for sale or pet reptile. And then your website is being pushed as the very top result on Google. So when somebody's just typing in buy first pet ball python, and they don't know anything between Morph Market or Petco, and they'd rather just go to Petco, your website comes up. It looks professional, especially if you keep it local. And they're like, oh, it looks professional. He's an actual reptile breeder. He's in my area. I'm going to go to him to buy this $200 snake. And you can spend $100 a month, the cost to vend one show, and you're going to get your ads, your website in front of thousands of people who are actively in the market to buy a snake. So that's number 3, is use Google search ads.
And yeah, that's brilliant. And am I right, on Google search ads, you could put your parameters, target people in X miles or X region.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yes. There's some.
All right. I think you got space for.
Okay.
I think you got space for one more slot, one more recommendation.
Right. So if you're trying to sell to breeders, the way that I would advise to sell to breeders is to build up relationships with them. This isn't going to be like fast. Build up relationships with other breeders well before you actually need to sell something. Find the people who are in the same projects as you and start up conversations and build that friendship, because when you have a clutch that fits into the project, it is very likely that they'll be like, hey, Adam, you are making acid clowns. I've been really wanting to get into the acid project. If you get an acid het clown female, let me know. I want to buy them. You have to set up those big sales well in advance. Like, you're not just going to be getting somebody to buy it like that. You can post on Morph Market and maybe you get lucky, but that's how I would foster those specific sales, those bigger sales. You need to be known for a project. I believe that's how you make the sales. If you're not known for a project, people don't think of you when they want to buy that big project.
Yeah, and you've been a huge proponent of that. Oh, I mean, that's your model in a nutshell, really, number 1 right there. And that's sort of been my model of having this whole YouTube social media presence all along, was to be relevant and relative to the market before I hit those big sales and those big scores. Man, fantastic top 5. Wes was super kind. I agree with him. He's just, it's Wes's words, not mine, but thank you. I wonder if the 50 people watching this realize how much it would cost to buy the advice we're getting for free with this top 5. Thank you so much. And, you know, I've always said I wanted this show to be about content, not a lot of the other things you find in our community. So thank you. With that being said, we have to continue on to our content, and I've lost track of the number of, we've had more top 5, middle 5 lists. We're on number 3 of our 2023 goals. You've given yours, which was to be self-sufficient on rodents, and my number 3 is kind of goes on the heels of what we were just talking about. I want to double up my YouTube reach. So I'd like to end the year at 4,000 on YouTube, or I guess technically 3,800. That is a staggeringly difficult goal. So that's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of personal interaction at the shows. You know, instead of getting, like right now, I get subscribers in clumps of 2, 3, and 5, you know, per day. That's a solid day. But even at that pace, that's not going to double me up. So I've got to get more. And I think that's going to really push my personal interaction when I'm at shows, trying to get people engaged, see me in the moment on their phones and that kind of thing. And I would like to 3 times my Instagram. That sounds more aggressive, but I'll tell you, like my Instagram at the moment, I did the math the other day based on the laws of the mathematics of compound interest. At the pace I'm on right now, I should be doubling every 3 months on Instagram. So actually, I should crush 3 times, because if I double twice, that's actually a 4x plus. Matter of fact. Anyway. Now, who knows if I keep up that pace and if I keep up that engagement and interaction, but the sort of the Instagram flywheel, that seems to be going pretty well. My YouTube is a little challenging, but I will say I am going to focus as well on shorts this year on YouTube, mostly because they're monetizing them. But now I feel a lot more comfortable with reels and that real short-term content engagement model. So not only are they monetized, I have a lot of experience and reps under my belt from my time on Instagram. So I feel more comfortable doing that on YouTube. You all will start to see that on the channel as well. So that could be a way to boost subscribers real fast as well.
Get it, man. Get it. I like.
Jeremy. What do you say?
Jeremy's saying you'll have 5K on Instagram by December. I 100% agree.
On Instagram, I want to have about 6 on Instagram, but yeah, I'm hoping 4K for YouTube. So thank you. I appreciate the vote of confidence. That's my mission right now. And let me expand on that a little bit. I want to build a community and I want engaged followers. I don't just want clicks. There's sort of nefarious ways to build clicks, although it's dumb because in the long run, they don't do any good. So, I mean, I want an engaged community, but I found that with the sponsorship angles, which have become a big part of my personal business model, the clout, the perceived reach, the way that they quantify my value is so easily done with followers. It's such a more difficult conversation to say, I showcase your brand in every bit of content, where X person might only do it once a week or once a month. I work harder because I'm trying harder. I have more, I want it more, blah, blah, blah. That stuff doesn't quantify very well. That's why in the promo, I said, if you buy from Cold Blooded, let them know that I sent you. I don't know how they quantify my value. They don't have a unique promo code. I've said this to Desiree. We're on good terms. It's all cool. But I want to bring value to them. I just don't want the perks. I want to be a two-way street and a good partner. So anyhow, that's part of why I want to bring more clicks and subscribers and whatnot as well. So that's my number 2. Jeremy, thank you, man. I appreciate that vote of confidence. Man, I always feel, I don't know how to pronounce I'm going to say Golans, Balls and Golans. Man, you're awesome to me. You're always on Instagram. You're always supporting me. Thank you very much. It is, I don't know if it's fire, but it is consistent. I post on that thing every day, man. So thank you for noticing. I very much appreciate that. Steven, hit us with the number 2 goal that you have for yourself and Courtney this year.
Okay, so number 2 goal is our business goal. And this goal is for 2023, we want to making gross revenue $40,000 from ball pythons.
Wow, I like it.
So we have a decent shot at that. I feel like that we are probably, this year we were looking at about 30,000. We've made probably about 25,000 right now with still some snakes left over, like, and all that stuff. That would probably put it up to 30,000. But with this upcoming year, we have higher end clutches that are coming. Hopefully our odds on it aren't as wrecked as they were. We didn't get bad odds, but we didn't get enough. We got just enough to hold back, like everything we wanted to hold back, but not very much stuff to sell. So with holding less stuff back this season and hopefully having just a little bit better odds, like not getting only 2 sunsets the entire year, we believe we should be able to hit the 40,000. But that's our goal, is gross 40,000 in revenue.
Fantastic. And to clarify, you said that you were this year, or 2022, you were at what, 25 to 30,000?
Yeah, I guess 2022 is 20. It was like just under 25. We still have snakes left over from 2022, but they haven't sold yet. So
yeah, and just to clarify too, that's gross. That's not profit.
Yeah,
that's
gross. That's gross.
Big income. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna talk more about that in a moment because mine. You'll see. I'm gonna dive deeper on that in a moment. I'm not brushing that aside as I move on here. We're gonna come back in just a second. My number 2 goal, and it comes right on the heels of what you were, or what I just clarified on your numbers. And this is my 3rd year breeding, and I don't have the collection that a lot of people have, but I do enjoy the business. I enjoy the challenge of the business. And as I've said earlier, this is my first time in my life being completely self-employed. I don't have a reliable paycheck coming in week to week. As a father, as a homeowner, as a husband, that is scary. And as not a rich man, if you've watched my show, I drive a 10-year-old Toyota. I have a 1,500 square foot house. I live modestly. However, so this part of my challenge is that I want ball pythons to be a viable source of some income stream. So my number 2 goal, pretty aggressive. I want a 5-figure profitability, not gross profitability. I need 10 grand on the bottom line at the end of the year. Why 10 grand? Why 5 figures? It sounds nice. It's arbitrary. We're all friends here. My mortgage annually is just above $13,000. So if I could profit $13,000 and snakes pay my mortgage, I'll be cool on the rest of it. I'll figure it out. My wife works. I have plenty of opportunity. Trust me, if things got tough, I would immediately sign up and go back to work. And I made a lot of money when I was employed. So relative to me, I'm sure there's people who made more. I was well taken care of. I'm fine. So a 5-figure profitability would either come close to or would pay my mortgage for the year. And that would make me very, very happy. That would be a killer number 2 goal for me.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Get it. So is that a profitability for the year, or is that profitability over everything you've put in?
No, for the year. For the year.
Okay.
For the year. That's a good clarification. We could do a whole episode on that. Profitability over the year. But the good news is, and here's another reason you starting out folks should go legit as fast as you can. In my opinion, one man, if you don't, you miss out on the losses of your early years that can offset future profitability. I could tell you if I make 10 grand in profit this year, I will pay next to zero tax because of the losses of my first 2 years that I have filed proper royals taxes and documented my losses. And this is a year of opportunity, man. 2023 is an amazing year for me. I feel it, and I've got the ducks lined up, and I've done the hard work, man. So yeah, that very good point, Steven. That will be profitable within the year, is what that will be.
I think that's awesome. Like so one of the things that we've done this year, we formed a joint venture partnership. Because Courtney and I are married, so it falls underneath the joint venture and all that stuff. I don't remember when we did it. When it was, I think it was August of 2020, I think. But anyways, so like last year, like for the 2021 year was the first full year that we had actually done taxes. We didn't do taxes when we had very, very first started the business because we weren't thinking of it like that. We were thinking of it as the hobby. Right. So last year was the first year that we did it, and the way it really helped us out because it reduced our taxable income. So essentially, like from our regular jobs, when you do write, real quick.
Hang on. I don't mean to cut you off. Hang on. Everybody stop what you're doing and listen to right here, right now. Say that again.
Okay. So I'm going to do a disclaimer. I'm not an accountant. I'm not an attorney. Don't take this as legal advice. Don't take this as tax advice. Thank you so much, Creative. Again, it's not my show. This is all to Adam, but Adam is freaking crushing it. So definitely deserves all of the super chats. But real quick, when you are doing your taxes, just because you buy something for the business and you get a write-off for it, that doesn't mean, like, let's say you spend $10,000 for your snake business in a year. That doesn't mean you get $10,000 back. Instead, let's say that you earned $50,000 and you paid taxes from your regular job off of $50,000. So maybe they took out, I don't know, $15,000. I'm making up a number. When you write off the $10,000 from all of these business expenses that you had, and it all depends, there's different types, there's deductible expenses, there's capital expenses, and they get deducted from your taxes in different ways. Like capital expenses are depreciated over an amortized period. That could be anywhere from like 5 years, it could be 10 years. There's lots of different stuff in there. Deductible expenses get taken off in the full year. And there's different ways that you can do it. An accountant will be able to help you out to figure out what you should do. Anyways, let's say you have $10,000 of write-offs in 1 year. You made $50,000. You paid taxes on $50,000 from your regular job. The $10,000 of write-offs goes to say that instead of making $50,000, you made $40,000. So there may have been, of the extra $10,000, you did pay taxes on throughout the year, but you shouldn't have. So then you can get, let's say, $2,000 back or something like that in this specific scenario. And it all depends on exactly like what your tax bracket is, how much money you made, how much you're writing off. But that's how it works. So it doesn't necessarily mean you spend $10,000, you're getting $10,000 back, but it's essentially you spend $10,000 and you shouldn't have been taxed on that $10,000, but you were when you got your paycheck from your job. That's how the write-offs work. Like, well, they don't go below zero. If you get to zero taxable income, you don't get extra money. So in those situations, you want to kind of structure your stuff so that way you are having depreciating assets that are being amortized in future years. So when you have a lot of money from your ball python business, you don't make 40 grand and be like, oh crap, I spent 40 grand and now I owe 10 grand in taxes. There's different ways you structure it. And that's why you work with an accountant to figure out what works best for you.
And I thank you so much. I don't know how we landed on that, but if you have a job and you have a business and the business loses, that loss can offset your income and lower your tax bill. And all the while, you get to work on cool stuff. I mean, I'm not a guy that run of the mill would be able to afford Gibson acoustic guitars for my, Irish pub gigs. Well, over time and income and tax benefits of claiming my income. And, Steven talked about a dual partnership and that sort of thing. I've never filed anything other than my tax accountant saying, yep, I have different forms of income. And I believe he's got me under a sole proprietor. That's it. That's all.
Yep.
With LLCs and this and that. Talk to your tax professional when you're ready and when you need it, by all means do that. But in the meantime, get down to making money versus wasting time and money on the other stuff. talk to your tax professionals. I'm not one, and as Steven said, he is not either, but I do have experience in living that life. And there's a lot of benefits to it. Both, I mean, all the way to health insurance affordability to, again, just lowering your tax bill all around. It's not tax evasion. It's in theory, your business is adding to the economy. So if you're spending the money and they can tax it as sales income for somebody else, the government still gets their money. They're just getting it from somebody else. And meanwhile, you get to build your business with primo goods so that you do the best stuff you can. There. Well, man, I could go, maybe one day I'm going to do an episode on that. I'll go down the rabbit hole on that. Maybe I'll get my tax guy on. That'd be a fun episode. Oh man.
Fun,
okay. Anyway,
I feel like there's loose terms there, but an interesting episode. I feel like most people, same thing happens for us. People don't like I don't want to say this. Here, I'll let you hit the super chat. So
no, go ahead. Finish up real quick.
Oh, I was just saying that like fun things, like I feel like we'll do like the marketing videos, and a lot of people really enjoy the marketing videos, but they're not fun, and that's how I feel like that the accountant stuff is too.
Oh yeah, it's yeah, but you know what I mean, and it's again, I hate going down these rabbit holes, but it's the fact of the matter. If you read a book like Rich Dad Poor Dad, which I recommend, it's full of shtick, it's full of attitude. You got to see through it. There's some things in it that just annoy me, but the underlying principles are correct. Read Clark Howard's blogs on his website or listen to his radio show. There are such benefits to having a business, and it doesn't have to be a huge business. It doesn't have to be wildly profitable. Don't be overwhelmed by hearing me say that I did, 15,000 or Steven's going to do 40,000 or I want 5 figures of profitability. It took me 3 years to get to 5 figures of profitability. What kind of madness is that? Well, it's been really, really beneficial. And my rental properties, my music business, my consulting business now, and now my ball pythons, man, it's doable and you can chase your dreams. And that's why I get so passionate about it. Keith, Creative Genetics. Keith, thank you so much. I was thinking about you today. I have no idea. I know you're in Paso Robles area, but I have no idea how those storms have affected you. I hope that you're well. I've heard some terrible stories of the storms, man. I hope that you're well. Drop me a line. Matter of fact, if you want to give me a call tomorrow or something like that, man, please do. Keith's been a good buddy of mine and an intriguing entrepreneur in his own right. I need to get Keith on. Ice machines and wholesale birdhouses and ball pythons. And I don't believe that man is clocked in for a job in quite some time. He makes it, man. I like Keith a lot. So thank you so much for the $20 there, man. We are down to our respective number one goals, man. And you
want to take it? You want to go first?
No, I don't want to. I'm the home team, man. I'm going last. That's how that's going to work.
All right.
You go first on it. I mean, it's got to be a banger if it's more than if you put 40K gross revenue, it's second.
Yeah. So again, they aren't quite like in order of like, they aren't quite like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and all that stuff because they were different categories. So this one is my personal goal. Okay. And I'm phrasing this very specifically. Because I want to, after this season, by this time next year, know if we are. So a little bit of context first. When was it? 2021 sometime. I don't remember exactly when. Probably fall of 2021. Courtney and I had bought 2 import ball pythons from Outback Reptiles. They were babies that hatched. They were a clutch that was from Africa. There were two separate clutches. Babies from Africa. They had never been in the wild themselves. They were captive hatched ball pythons. So they were never in the wild themselves. And they were pretty much, the eggs were incubated, they hatched, and they were like, oh, these babies look weird. We're going to sell them to these weird people in the U.S. who are going to pay stupid money for ball pythons and all that stuff. And Outback buys a bunch of them, and they kind of label them as special ball pythons. And special, not the morph special, but that they look interesting.
Right.
They are not proven to be genetic because they're just random, essentially wild animals that have been hatched in captivity. But they all look like normals to varying degrees with different levels of expressions of different phenotypes. They put these for sale on their website, and we saw one that blew us away. We saw it and we were like, that's so freaking cool looking. And again, we don't know if it's genetic, but we saw it and we were like, I want to buy this. Like, it looks wild. And that's the thing, is like, you can see like people have dinker projects, and when you see the dinker project and you're like, yeah, there's something else going on in it, and they hold it up and you're like, that's a normal. Like, I do not, it's a normal. Are both of these animals, like, you hold them up, you're like, oh, like, I don't know if it's genetic, but those are certainly not normals. Like, you could put a pile of 1,000 normals and these two snakes in there, and you'd pick them out like that. Like,
I've seen one of them, and I recollect it very clearly, and it's got the wide swaths of orange down sort of the sides towards the back. Yeah, that one particular, and especially is a striking animal.
So we have, that one's a male. So he's breeding this season. He hasn't locked up with the female. We're only pairing him with one female because we don't want to have a bunch of clutches in case he's not genetic. Like, it doesn't prove out.
Yeah.
What we're doing with one, we're pairing him to an albino female. So that way all of the babies will be normal, and it will be very easy to tell if his appearance passes on.
Right.
So essentially we want to know is whether or not he is either incomplete dominant or dominant. And if we find out that all of the babies look normal, either it's not genetic or it's recessive. But either way, we will know the answer to that goal, which is our personal goal, is to figure out whether or not his appearance, his phenotype, is incomplete dominant or not. Incomplete dominant or not. So yes or no. Either way, we'll know as long as we get a clutch from him.
That's super cool, and it's next level. Like, I'm chasing figuring out the market, and you're chasing finding new genes, man. It's super cool, and it's why I like surrounding myself with the people in our community, and yourself in particular. Just fantastic, man. I hope it hits. When has the female ovulated? No, not yet.
They haven't even locked yet. Like,
okay.
So we're ways away, and she doesn't go until like around the summer anyway. But they haven't locked yet. He's up to size. He's over a year old. They just haven't locked yet. So
okay, cool. Best of luck to you on that. My
number one.
Last year my goal was revenue wise was to triple my year before, and my number one goal, which is incredibly ambitious, is to do that very same thing again this year. So I have a gross revenue goal of $45,723. So when I said earlier, I'm falling behind already in January, I'm falling behind, man. I gotta get cracking on that. So how will I do that? Spewing out numbers is all well and good, and having a community cheer me on is phenomenal. However, I don't expect that the people in the audience are all going to pitch in and make my number magically happen. So now that does include ad revenue, sponsorships, and any new revenue streams under the Proper Royals umbrella that I get into. So it's not quite 100% snake related, but it's going to have to be most of it. I mean, this year my snake revenue was 80% of my income, and I think it'll have to be higher next year. I can't imagine what 20% would be. 9,000. I can't imagine 9,000 in non-snake revenue. I'm not sure where that would come from. So how do I do that? Well, inventory that I have for sale right now is I think it's a $16,000 or $17,000, and let's say I negotiate 80-85% of that. There's about a third of it. So that means the other 2/3 need to come from what I do and what I produce and sell this year. And I'm kind of a big proponent of especially because I'm running out of space, of less holdbacks and then take the money and buy forward on what I need to, which I know we could do a whole show on that as well. But if I've got, all right, stick with me here. If I was able to do 15,000 last year, and I've got about, let's call it 15,000 in inventory, what it really means is I need to double up what I sold last year. I need to double that 15,000 to make up that other 30 to get to 45. I had 6 clutches last year, and this year I'm pairing 20 females. So if I can get 2/3 of them to go, I'll double my production from last year. And in theory, the result should be an improved selection from last year as well. That's a whole lot of ifs and maybes and buts, and it's going to be backloaded at the end of the year. I'm going to need a crank in fourth quarter to make that magic happen. But like I say, what good are goals if they're not ambitious? That's what I'm after. I could aim low all day long, man. I'm going to aim high, and let's see what I hit. So $45,723. That's what I need to get to. Thank you to everybody who has contributed a little bit tonight to chip away at that number. Man, we both have big goals for 2023, Steven. I wish you the very, very best on it. Thank you for sharing them with me, motivating me, and helping me put my own goals in the documentary of the internet and the YouTube history. Here they are.
Hold on.
I'm looking at the comment here. Yeah, Charlie says, did you see on the holdback rack, Jessica noted that most animals sold in the year after they were hatched.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, there was a couple things that were really, you should watch that show if you haven't seen it. She did mention that most were sold in the spring or following summer. She also noted that animals that were perceived, not even labeled as, but perceived in the picture as subadults, even if they were in the 400 or 500 gram range, averaged a price of 30% higher than the hatchling counterpart in the third or fourth quarter of the previous year. That's the content we're going to get next week when she's on my show. Really, really intriguing food for thought. And I mean, she takes it all the way to statistical t-test to see if her data is viable. Like me, I'm just going off of like, here's what I see. This is what I'm going to do. She has the statistical viability test with it as well. SSV Reptiles, you asked what show is that? It's called The Holdback Rack. They give a very clear and honest disclaimer at the beginning. It's not safe for work, so tune in your earbuds, but otherwise it's an incredibly insightful podcast. There you go.
It's an amazing podcast. Like, I really, really like it, and it is entertaining. It is so much information. Jessica and Jana are probably some of the smartest people in the hobby.
It's super insightful. Charlie nailed it. Yeah. Update your photos. That's what I need to be doing in my spare time. Boom. That's number 6 on the list. Adam, update your photos. Make those animals look subadult-ish. I like it. SSV Reptiles. Also, you were talking about a P&L setup, and the video I did wasn't specifically on P&L setup, but if you look back at my 1 year ago, what I made or lost episode of my regular videos in 2021, I take you through my full P&L setup as well. Let me see here. I don't know what else we have to cover tonight, Steven. You got any parting words for us, man?
I don't think so at the moment. Again, anybody going to Tinley, we're going to be in Tinley in March, so we definitely want to see you. We will, if you're in the Southeast area and are interested, send us a message on Instagram on the reptile cookout thing. Again, we're still in kind of the early planning stages of it, but
March or May?
May. Yeah, so there's still some time.
Time. Give me the dates, man. I will do my best to be there. I might. That's my client's perceived time of rollout, but we'll see how he is on his schedule.
It's a weekend. I don't know if you work weekends, but it's a weekend.
I like a good excuse for a road trip. And again, we were talking about business expenses. Mileage just got ticked up, the IRS mileage rate.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like 65 cents right now, man.
I got one thing real quick before we go. Again, throwing this out here. Not a tax professional, but I actually looked this up today. The IRS had a ruling that in the tax season 2022, if you made more than $600 from any online payment processor, whether it's PayPal, whether it's Venmo, Cash App, Square, you were going to get a 1099-K form as they were reporting any income you got from any of those as taxable income. So essentially, it's making anybody who got more than $600 from any of these kind of like cash transfer services of any sort, you would have had to claim it on your taxes. And if you're getting it claimed on your taxes and you're not doing write-offs, you're going to get crushed by a tax burden. That said, they did change it on, I think it was December 23rd. So that way it's not mandatory, but those individual processors may send it to you anyway. It only gets mandatory if you make over 20,000 from that processor or 200 transactions, but the processor can still decide to do it themselves. And if they are reporting it to the IRS, don't get caught not claiming it. You're going to get wrecked. So be very careful about those when you're doing taxes this year. If you are not set up as a business and you get one of those 1099-Ks, you need to go through and get all of your bank statements and figure out like, all right, what did I spend for this business this year, and write it off.
This is the content that you get here. I want to tell you all, thank you so much. I can't be happier to be looking forward to 2023. The support you all have given me and encouragement and everything else in this community is phenomenal. Thank you all to everybody that gave a super chat for the evening. Tune in next week, same place, same time. Jessica Hare from the Hold Back Rack podcast. I can't wait. I will see you all next week. I always do this. I never have the music queued up. Here it comes. We are out. I will see you all next time. There it is. Good night, everybody.